Hi, this is Ru Yang with the Game Haus. Here with Chris on Batterystaples. I'm here to talk about Jamestown Plus, the remastered version of the indie bullet hell Jamestown. So let's kind of start with that. It's obviously been a long time since Jamestown originally came out, and since then, a lot has changed within the gaming industry and whatnot. So just kind of with this remastered version coming out, what were some of the key concerns coming in to kind of ensure that you guys kept that same kind of flavor to the game that a lot of people enjoyed about it in the first place?
So Jamestown Plus at its heart is still very much the same game. It's still built with those wonderful co-op mechanics that make it so easy for any group of 4 people to jump in and have fun with it. The big things in the remaster are new levels, a tremendous number of new ships, a massive art overhaul. Like everything in the game looks fantastically better than in 2011. It was a pretty game in 2011. It's really just the best version of itself. You know, it's sort of a modern version almost of itself. You know, Jamestown Plus came out on PS4 a couple of years ago. And since then, we've still taken a lot of time with the engine, still made a lot of performance enhancements, still made a lot of changes to the art, and a lot of things like that to sort of keep it modern in 2019.
Out of all the kind of new additions, or even just kind of changes you made, such as kind of music, art style, stuff like that, just kind of what were kind of the big ones that you feel definitely made the game feel a lot more new, a lot more modern, to kind of bring it up to standard to kind of the current kind of standards, I guess?
Sure, yeah, of course. For me, it's the combination of the new levels and new ships. It's the number of new ways you can interface with Jamestown. So the first classic version of the game back in 2011 only came with 4 ships. And they played sufficiently differently that you still had a really wide variety of styles to choose from. But Jamestown Plus has 12, and 3 of those are pretty customizable. So there are lots of different loadouts you can configure with. And even then, we're the only shoot 'em up where like your team's group composition is like a meaningful thing. Like you might want one ship that's really strong doing single target damage for bosses, and have a couple of ships that are really good with wide AoE damage to clear out small packs of guys. Like the number of different ship configurations and the number of ways you can interface with Jamestown are probably the most single meaningful part about Jamestown Plus for me.
Kind of follow through that and kind of switch it to over to kind of talking about the community in general. Obviously, again, one of the big things that kind of made the original Jamestown so special was the curve for entry, where it was definitely a lot friendly towards kind of newer players to the genre, where the kind of Toho projects, those kind of games, were just immediately difficult right off the gate. Yeah, exactly. So with kind of the new ship types and whatnot, was there anything else you guys want to do to make sure that, like, while you guys were still kind of catering to new players, you want to make sure that for kind of the veterans of the genre, that they still kind of had something new in there as well?
Yeah, the fancier ships are full of unique ways to sort of flex on opponents. If you're capable of finishing Jamestown on Judgment, its highest difficulty, you are already in the top percent of a percent of players. I think I have seen precisely 1 screenshot in all of these years of somebody completing a no-hit Judgment run on the Gauntlet. So Gauntlet's the mode where you play through every level in one set of continues. And so Judgment, Gauntlet, the hardest difficulty, one set of continues. Almost nobody ever finishes that. Judgment's very challenging. And I've seen exactly 1 screenshot of somebody with a no-hit clear of a Judgment Gauntlet. And so for those players, they have a spicier, longer Gauntlet to keep them entertained with the new levels, because there's a new version of the Gauntlet that has the new levels added to it. But the number of ships and the number of ways that those players can interact with Jamestown at the highest levels of difficulty should certainly keep them engaged. We really hope that they'll find it interesting. But one of the things that we really nailed with Jamestown the first time around was the game's, approachability, its approach to co-op and difficulty scaling. And those things are totally unchanged because they were right the first time. One of our core focuses with Jamestown has always been the fact that you can get together with any group of your friends at all, or 0 friends, literally any number of friends between 0 and 3, and you can hop in, and there's a difficulty setting for you where you have a wonderful time. And that was something that the original Jamestown really did right the first time. And so that is exactly the same and completely unchanged in Jamestown Plus.
Let's also kind of touch a bit on the music. Obviously, you guys had it remastered as well. And then kind of with the new levels, obviously, there were probably going to be some new soundtracks. Yeah. So kind of just how important was it for you guys for the music to kind of still... How important was you for the music to kind of help build the general kind of aesthetic and feel that you want for the game, with the kind of unique theme around it as well?
Oh, it's a critical component, right? The music is such a big part of the atmosphere of the game, the builds, the swells, the big crescendos. There's such a huge part of it. Jamestown Plus has this really fantastic orchestral soundtrack that was remixed and remastered for the remaster for Jamestown Plus. And I'm not sure how to say it other than that it's such an essential component. The atmosphere of the game is so wildly changed without it. And I think the tracks for the new levels are also both outstanding. Like one of them we hear a lot because it's the one in our trailer. And I never actually got tired of it, even after hearing the trailer dozens and dozens and dozens of times. I'm a big fan. Oh, neat.
To finish off the interview, just out of kind of all the new content we've talked about, the ships and whatnot, just kind of what's your personal favorite addition? Like if it's a ship, like kind of specifically which ship was kind of the most entertaining for you and whatnot?
Man, the individual best ship that I prefer. So one of the customizable ships from Armada is called Lazar. And so this is one of the 3 customizable ships where its super weapon can be configured to an A or a B type. So this one specifically has either a drop beam where you place it in a spot and then it shoots at that spot and you can move around and dodge enemy fire. Or you can have it be a charge and a huge AoE burst kind of thing. And then you configure its Vulcan, its regular weapon cannon for one of 6 configurations. So that ship with its drop beam is definitely my favorite addition to the new game. Just the number of ways that lets you sort of interact, and you can sort of aim once and then forget about it and move along. It's very easy to play and also pretty powerful. I'm a big fan.
All right, thank you for your time.
Oh, of course, thank you so much.